This is bait. Life outside the Federal Witness Protection Program. A very dangerous way to exist.
Skinhead, deadhead, everybody, gun bad, situation, aggravation, everybody, allegation, innocence on the news, everybody, dog food, bang bang, shot dead, everybody, gun bad. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
Back to America, and here comes a stalking jackass fucking boyfriend. Hey, it's Suze, and welcome to today's episode of War Crimes Unit. Holy cow, dude. I mean, it's like they're just never gonna stop. Okay, before I left Mexico today, I was trying to explain to a Policía Municipal about the strange event that I had this morning with this, tattoo it thing. If you saw my last video, the chick that kind of reeked of an undercover somebody outside of my hotel. I was trying to explain this to the officer that, the trouble is that anytime anything happens that looks like the same pattern that's happened before, I said, I even asked one police officer up in Marysville, California, I'm like, how do you make a report on organized crime? And, and he's just like, well, you just make the report, but Charles, we just don't know. We don't know the whole thing. Okay, well, follow along and you'll see it. All right, so now I crossed the border today, and so I was inspected by U.S. Customs, and apparently, I have no idea. I don't obviously have customs agent training, but for some reason, I threw up more red flags than I normally do. I don't know why. But they wanted to further inspect me, and that is totally fine with me. You know what? Extra screening does not bother me. But you know what? The trouble is that it creates a huge problem for them. And then, of course, it is inconvenient. And so, but the trouble is, I cannot fix this NCIC global terrorism database that these fucking assholes on the FBI have got me jacked on because they traded the kids and wanted to take everybody out. Okay, so I cannot fix that is the problem. The only thing that I can do is explain to Customs as to why I was in Mexico and what I'm doing back in the United States and so forth. And so when I went into the extra screening room, and there's other people that go into extra screening room for whatever reason. Whatever it is. And so when I was in the extra screening waiting room, and you know what? See, here's the thing. See, I show them this letter, and one customs agent, the first one, not the one in the screening room, said, well, this is like 4 years ago, and I have to see, this case is so big, I have to remember what to say back. Well, like nothing's ever been prosecuted, dude. I'm saying? It's just a victim letter. Just having all these problems, customs agent. And that's why I said it's so big, it's hard to give this 30-second infomercial when you're going through the gate. Okay, so, but then, I was just explaining as the agent was, inspecting my bag and things, which is fine, and that's why I said, I already know what you're looking for. You're looking for bulk cash smuggling, you're looking for drugs, you're looking for weapons. Knock yourself out. See, because I know, I read their stuff online. So, but anyway, I don't have any of that stuff on me, and I never will. I told them I have my damn sole and defense stun gun in my bag, so just watch out. It's 7.5 million volts. But now, anyway, here was the weird thing. He had my passport, and he was looking at my passport, and he was like looking at this, and he was really studying the computer. So I have to wonder, I kind of sit there and I wonder, are things jacked up in certain ports of entry, or is it just because I've never been through their port of entry? I'm not sure, but he was really studying the computer, so it made me think that there might be something like horribly bad, which could possibly be from the Phoenix FBI. When I was here before, I don't know, because I didn't see the computer. I wish I had access to the computer, and then I would have a clear explanation. But so anyway, I was inspected by Customs, and then I went up, took my shuttle, because I had this planned. There's actually a lot of shuttles down in Nogales, but I took the shuttle that I had, investigated, if you want to call it, before, and then made sure it went to Tucson. So I got in there, and then I slept for a little bit, and then there was this a couple guys on there, and one guy just started talking to me, and then but see, here's the thing: he wanted to know, like he actually see, I knew he was an undercover somebody. I knew he was an undercover jackass. Keep in mind, I lived next door to an undercover narcotics detective growing up, so I know how they act on the job. So he reeked of some kind of informant or some kind of undercover person. So I was just telling him what happened up to a certain point. And he was acting like he was so concerned and acting like he was caring and all that and whatever. And all I did was give him my email address, and I gave him, you know, my publication, which is my summary of this disaster on Amazon. Genocide, America's Love Affair with Al-Qaeda. The 20-year saga of a man ICE can't deport because of everyone else. So then, you know, he tries to act like concerned, oh, your whole family's missing and all that, oh, that's horrible, you don't have any support system. I'm telling you, I'm Congress, you know, I just keep thinking I should be getting more help from Congress, and I'm not, and I don't really know why, and all of that. And so, but he just, you know, acted like all concerned, gave me his phone number. Okay, so you know what, I'm like, all right, just take this. I did not give him my phone number. All right, so then I get up to this extended stay hotel, Extended Stay America, that I'm staying at. And, okay, guess what? I can't get in. So then the colorful story from the hotel desk clerk is that they had the confirmation from my travel company. They had that, but they didn't have some kind of third-party credit authorization in order to charge the card. Well, then the guy had the nerve to kind of tell me, well, I could just go ahead and pay for one night. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what the hell should I be paying for one night? Because I have the receipt, I have the email receipt that my company has chalked out $600 and something dollars on their credit card. So, I mean, how do I know that it wasn't really ran through, right? And then he's telling me, you know, I said, well, you know, isn't there like a cancellation policy or something? He said, well, yeah, we did. You'd have to bill the card for one night. I'm like, oh, do I get to stay here? And he's like, well, no. I'm like, oh, so you can bill a card for one night. You can't bill it for the whole amount, but you'll bill it for one night, but then you won't let me stay here? I'm like, okay, red flags. See, and here's what they would do. So we've got the situation in which I would not have a safe place to stay. My own place to stay, but all of a sudden I have a resource. Who would the resource be? The boyfriend that just gave me his phone number on the shuttle bus that was acting oh so concerned and wanted to help me and was like, oh, poor thing. I was like, okay, fuck this. Well, you know, I kept trying to call my recruiter, Ronald. I kept trying to get a hold of him, you know, but it is Saturday. So, you know, I was giving him some time to get the message and all that. And so, but you know what, I just foresaw this. I said, you know, I didn't feel, I knew I needed to make a report, but I really wasn't quite sure where this is coming from. See, this is what happens when these big things happen. When I know that there's, all of a sudden, there's not a safe place for me to stay, there's a scandal, and then there's a boyfriend. Okay, so then I have to sit here and think, who's concocting this? Is this one of these FBI task force? Is the Tucson police involved in this? Do they know the case? Are they being jacked by the FBI? Is the sheriff's office, are they being jacked by the FBI? What's going on? See, and then I have to sit here and think to myself, I just don't think I can call local law enforcement. That's what I finally concluded, is that I didn't feel like I could call local law enforcement. So I just called and left a message for my Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent down in Houston, Texas, even though I'm way up here. Let's see. Special Agent Paul Burkholder. So I just left him the message of the something wasn't right, gave him the phone number of the stalking boyfriend, and, you know, and just hope to God that everything was going to work out. Okay, so it eventually, Ronald had called me back, my recruiter, and, you know, he couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. He had to pull Lindsay out, the other chick in the office, and that works in the office. Apparently, she had to go back into the physical office of where the staffing company was and refax this authorization. Now, according to them, this was all taken care of midweek. But whatever the heck happened as to the excuse as to why the hotel said that they didn't have the authorization. They probably either had the authorization and were refusing to acknowledge it, or they really didn't get the authorization, Or, I had this problem where, when I was doing this pre-employment drug screen down in Chula Vista, California, in which the Quest lab was saying that they never got the fax from the company. So, there's something wrong. It seems to be linked into a fax. Now, I don't know, somebody hacking the fax? It could be. I don't know, but anyway, she had to go back in the office and refax this. Obviously, eventually got taken care of, and I ended up getting into my hotel room, but holy cow, what a disaster. I mean, if I wouldn't have been able to get a hold of my recruiter, and they wouldn't have been able to fix this, I could have been homeless out on the streets in Tucson, Arizona. And that's why I said, I know what they would want me to do. They would want me to call this boyfriend guy that they sicked on me, that was this is what happens when I re-enter the United States. I actually had a blog post on this. There's always a boyfriend. There's always a boyfriend. Comes out of the damn woodwork. You know who my boyfriend is? It's a Mexican military. That's my boyfriend. Who's my big brothers? All the ICE guys. All these ICE guys, especially Border Patrol. Oh, I forgot to tell you, when I came up from Nogales after I was inspected by Customs, we did go through a Border Patrol checkpoint. So I was inspected by Customs and U.S. Border Patrol on the way up here. But oh my God. And all I kept thinking about is before I got into this hotel, I was thinking to myself, oh my crap, what in the hell am I going to fucking do? I can't call the police. I can't call the sheriffs. Where's Border Patrol? Are they ever going to drive by? What happens if a Border Patrol agent doesn't drive by? And I actually had gone across the street to the IHOP, and I was trying to figure out if they had Wi-Fi, and then thank God Ron had called me back. But and then they couldn't figure this out either. They thought that this was highly strange because, see, they, place nurses, and, they're a company that places nurses all over the country, and so they've done this before. And you see, and I've done this before too, where the companies pay for my hotel and you just go and you show your ID. So they thought it was unusual. I know it's the stalking damn boyfriend thing. And just thank God that I was able to get in the hotel room before dark and before anything else happened. Boy, what an evening. Anyway, and thank God my Aeromexico Visa card worked when I got to Tucson. Whew. Close call. Stalking boyfriends coming into the United States. Anyway, that's tonight's episode of War Crimes Unit. Keep your stun gun or machine gun handy. There's real criminals and terrorists out there. Not me. Ones that the FBI knows about and intentionally chooses to do nothing about anything. I'll see you next time.